Namaskar. I'm Supriya Mahabaleshwarkar, co-convener in INTAC Pune. I welcome you all on behalf of INTAC, the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage, Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini, and BIF Development Research Foundation. Over the past 4 days, as we have been talking about the important Indian traditional water systems, a thought comes to my mind. Even our intangible cultural heritage is strongly associated with these traditional systems. Observing nature, learning from nature is an inherent part of many local folklore and sayings. One of the INTAC documentation projects talks of the wisdom from Jaisalmer, Rajasthan about the rains. It is based on the reference of clouds that are fashioned like the wings of birds, like the partridge. Titara pankha bheda batavai, bin varasyav ye kadi na jave. If the sky is overcast by clouds that resemble the wings of the partridge, they will not leave without raining. It will definitely rain. Even insects as small as ants teach us so much. Ants are important indicators of arrival of rains. Ants build anthills on open spaces which are not safe during rains. Thus, as they sense arrival of rain, they seek shelter elsewhere. If ants are carrying their eggs out of their nests and are found roaming here and there, then rains will occur soon. Kidi mukhame andale darataj bhumi bhramanta virakha avai jorasu dhalathala ekakaranta jalathal ekakaranta. With a feeling of reverence towards these knowledge associated with our traditional water systems, on occasion of World Water Week 2022, INTAC, Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini, and BIF Development Research Foundation are organizing this series of online talks. The series aims to create awareness about the importance of traditional water systems of India with a focus on step wells. India has a rich heritage of water conservation through its numerous traditional water systems. They represent the knowledge associated with them, along with the diversity of geographical settings and culture. Understanding these systems could lead to important inputs in dealing with the water crisis, leading to a more sustainable and equitable water management for the humans as well as more than human beings on Earth. We are happy to have with us Professor Mathurji. I request Dr. Ajit Vartak sir to please introduce him for the session today. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce today's guest speaker, Professor Suresh Chandra Mathur. Mathur sir did his BS graduation and masters from Rajasthan University. He did his PhD from Jodhpur University on phosphorite geology. Later, he finished a course in mineral exploration from School of Mines, Paris, France. In 1988, he joined as assistant professor in Jain Vyas University, Jodhpur. After completing 33 years of service, in 2020, he retired as professor and head of the department. Presently, he is Professor Emeritus at SGV University, Jaipur. He has supervised 10 students for PhD and 1 student for DSc. He has visited more than 40 countries, to attend many conferences and for presentation also. He has organized many conferences and workshops. Some of them are UNESCO IGCP International Conference and Field Workshop on Ediacara as a convener. He organized 84th Annual Session and Conference on Desert Science of National Academy of Sciences, Allahabad, as local convener and organizing secretary. He also organized a field workshop on rare earth minerals of Geological Society of India as a convener. He is a recipient of many awards. Some of them are International Friendship Award of International Association of Sedimentologists, prestigious Wadia Award by Indian Association of Sedimentologists, and Veer Durgadas Award. Recently, Professor S.C. Mathur is nominated as guest editor of International Journal of Geoheritage, which is published by Springer Publication. With this short introduction, now I request Professor Mathur sir to deliver his talk on important stepwells of Rajasthan, implication for hydrogeotourism. Mathur sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ajit Burtak. Good evening to everybody. It's my pleasure to be part of World Water Week today, for which I am very thankful to Dr. Supriya Madam, Dr. Ajit, and my friend Dr. Venkat Raghavan to contact me and invite me to share my thoughts on the traditional step wells of the Rajasthan. I also extend my gratitude to eminent speakers, those who have delivered their lecture in the Water Week, participants, and especially respected Jal Baba Sri Rajendra Singh Ji, who belongs to Rajasthan. Before starting my talk, I would like to share some of my memories with Jal Baba. I have been also told that some laymen or the general people are also participate in this event. So I would like to share some thoughts in Hindi about my interaction with Jal Baba. A few years ago, Rajendra Singh Ji came to attend a conference Sansthan of Jodhpur. They are doing wonderful work in Jodhpur in Western Rajasthan pertaining to water-related bodies and water conservation. He came to, he is coming, तो मैंने उनसे कांटेक्ट करने की कोशिश की और वो ट्रेन से आ रहे थे 11 बजे उनका इनॉग्रल फंक्शन था और वो चीफ गेस्ट थे उस प्रोग्राम में जिसमें उस वक्त के केंद्रीय मंत्री है जी
आपका वीडियो शुरू कीजिए आपका वीडियो बंद है
ओके
थैंक यू
मैंने जब कांटेक्ट किया तो वो ट्रेन में थे तो उन्होंने कहा कि मैं तो वहाँ पे प्रोग्राम में हूँ तो मैंने उनको इनवाइट किया था एक पीएचडी वाइवा था जो मेरे स्टूडेंट शिव सिंह राठौड़ उस वक्त पीएचडी किया था उन्होंने एंड रिसेंटली एज रिटायर्ड फ्रॉम एज ए चेयरमैन फ्रॉम राजस्थान पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन तो मैं चाहता था ट्रेडिशनल वाटर बॉडीज पे जोधपुर की जो हमने काम किया वो विटनेस रहे तो जब मैंने उनको ये बताया कि ट्रेडिशनल वाटर बॉडीज पे ये वाइवा है तो उन्होंने कहा 5 मिनट ठहरिए आई विल कॉल बैक टू यू और विद इन 5 मिनट्स उन्होंने बताया कि आई विल स्ट्रेट कम टू योर डिपार्टमेंट फ्रॉम द रेलवे स्टेशन एंड ही केम सो पेशेंटली लिसन दैट वाइवा एंड at the end of that viva, he not only appreciated, but he suggested something which is most important and relevant to today's talk also. He told us that why not you do same type of work for the step wells of the Rajasthan. And the idea was conceived by us and SS Rathod. He has been assigned member of RPSC at that time. So it took some time, more time to complete his DSc. Last month, we have able to submit his thesis, DSc, on the step wells of the Rajasthan. So in today's talk, I have included some of that part and work from our research group on the important step wells of Rajasthan, its geotourism implications. Today, I will focus not only to highlight the spectacular and magnificent step wells of Rajasthan, but how these type of water-related bodies are utilized internationally, and what type of field is emerging to utilize such type of water-related bodies internationally for the socio-economic development of the region. And we know that these spectacular heritage structures are in pathetic stage nowadays. They are irrelevant to our present scenario. And that's why I will show you a during my presentation how our spectacular and magnificent heritage, monumental heritage have been destructed, and they are fighting for their existence. That's why the conservation and the protection of these water bodies is essential for us. And in this endeavor, we are working on these water bodies, of Rajasthan. Just try to how we can cope up with the international level of work in Rajasthan and can utilize them for the socio-economic development. So in my presentation, I will highlight the step wells, mainly with the angle of geology, hydrogeology and geomorphology. So many workers have done meticulous work on other aspects of the step wells, but my angle will be simply geology and geomorphology and hydrogeology. So a lot of material is there to show you. So I will hurriedly go with and give emphasis on some important aspects of water-related concepts which are emerging on the international level. So with your permission, I am going to start my presentation. So simply step wells, the small to large water bodies originated by natural processes related to groundwater geology with favorable hydrogeological conditions and have human interactions. So basically step wells are the groundwater bodies having some human interaction, that is magnificent civil and architectural built verandas and steps that descend to reach to the water table. This is the principal character of these water bodies, how to reach to the water table. So with the time, our ancestors have developed so many techniques and indigenous techniques, and they have able to create such an spectacular water bodies which are present and we see today. In India, these remarkable water structures are known by various names such as Bauri, Jalra, Baudi, Bauli, Vaudi, Kalyani, Puskarni, Vapi, Vapika, and so many names are there assigned in different parts of India. But all these step wells have some common characters. Just I want to share. These are the conventional sources of fresh groundwater accumulate in deep aquifer through seepage. This is most important hydrogeological character of these step wells. They are more than 100 to 200 year old, spectacular monumental structure. Most important is these are the monumental structure. I will show you how they are monumental structure. Mostly they are rectangular, square, L or I shape. Magnificent example of water harvesting and conservation and management system of old time. Showcase of the traditional art, culture, history, center of festivals, religious and recreational activities, bathing and resting place for travelers and local communities, and also the meeting places of women that time. So with introduction of the step wells, as far as the geology is concerned, so we have invented about 1,000 step wells in Rajasthan, which are considered as lifeline since old time. In Rajasthan, step wells are known mainly as Jalra and Bauri. So basically, broadly, we have classified them into Jalra. Jalras, I think they are the rectangular single floor, large structure with the steps on 3 or 4 sides. You can see 3 or 4 sides they have steps, while the Bauri are the smaller than Jalra in dimension, but have 3 to 7 levels of flights. You can see having steps are only in one direction. Each level has at least one veranda supported by carved pillars and arching. So step wells are originally groundwater bodies and displaying significant hydrogeodiversity, hence are geological object. So this is most important point for my talk, that they are geological objects. So considering them as a geological objects at international level, enormous work has been taken place, and they are meticulously utilize them in a different way. So based on these aspects, we have framed our objectives. First, to characterize and assess step wells to recognize them hydrogeocytes. So these are the actually hydrogeocyte. How they are hydrogeocyte, why they have been named hydrogeocyte, I will tell you in my lecture. Of India, similar to those established internationally. So hydrogeocytes which have been assigned internationally, how we can call them or assign Indian step wells as hydrogeocytes to establish hydrogeoheritage values of important hydrogeocytes. So basic aim is to establish the hydrogeoheritage values of these hydrogeocytes, to establish hydrogeocytes as hydrogeotourism sites as an additional tool to promote tourism in Rajasthan. So based on the international work and the concept which is emerging at international level, how we can utilize our water bodies as a hydrogeotourism sites. And next is to aware people pertaining to their significance. They are more significant water bodies in different ways, I will show you, and to propose them monument of national interest and World Heritage Site as per ASI and UNESCO guideline respectively. So concept of hydrogeological heritage at international level. At international level, water georesources. Water is a georesource similar to the rocks and minerals. In geology, we consider that, and its related aspects have been considered and developed at par with the concept of geosite, geoheritage, and geotourism. This is the basic subject which is emerging at international level, and UNESCO is also promoting spectacular and landscape which have international significance in terms of their geoheritage. So in that term, and at par with these concepts, SAMIC in 2009 included all type of water bodies and designated them hydrogeocyte of hydrogeological significance. So we can call also our step wells as a hydrogeocytes. So hydrogeological significance, for which we have to understand the hydrogeoheritage, is defined as a hydrological diversity of a hydrogeocyte with other water phenomena that stand out with the importance which can be reflected as water as a georesource, geological, geomorphological, educational, socio-cultural, and aesthetic significance. So this particular work at international level has opened new field of new concept at international level. So hydrogeological significance of water bodies are further proved by official content and standardization description of UNESCO Global Geopark. We know that till date 169 geoparks have been developed in 49 countries, and these geopark has significant geological heritage along with the water landscape, and they have to be conserved for the tourism purpose, education and science, for the sustainable development of the societies. So this is the concept of UNESCO nowadays, and the geopark which have been designated are called as So finding shows more than 50% of description of water segment in geopark clearly imply a significant contribution of hydrogeodiversity in geopark. However, in absence of geopark concept in India, India does not have a single geopark till date. The idea of geoheritage significance of water bodies are also not adequately explored as at international level to consider hydrogeology as a valuable geological object for the economic benefits of human beings. So this is most important. That's why in India, these step wells are not adequately explored in terms of the geological objects. So our endeavor is to establish them as important geological objects of the country. So hydrogeology concept at national level, we know that India is significantly endowed with great hydrogeodiversity in terms of sea, lakes, ponds, and variety of the water structures. Additionally, along with large number of traditional groundwater bodies, that is most important among them is the step wells, which are unique in the world. Nowhere you will find such type of large number of unique and magnificent structure. As far as my knowledge is concerned, I have not visited so many countries there, but such type of spectacular structures are present in India, and especially in Rajasthan and some part of Gujarat and some in other states also. So since the term hydrogeocyte proposed by CIMIC is successfully utilized at international level and can also appropriate for the water bodies of India, it can be defined in Indian context. It's essentially a natural and or a traditional groundwater body having hydrogeological diversity, which is significant locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally, that provide the knowledge of environment, science, archaeology, aesthetic, and socio-cultural aspect, and impart scenic beauty to a particular place. So, these step wells and other water bodies fulfill all these criteria, and in my view, we can call them as hydrogeocytes. That's why we have utilized and assigned them to consider them as a hydrogeocyte. So hydrogeodiversity of hydrogeocyte in India is least understand geologically and is not adequately explored for their hydrogeological values, obviously in absence of proper methodology and guidelines in Indian perspective. So this is the basic flaw. That's why geologically these step wells are not recognized on the international level. So for this purpose, recently we have published a paper in Journal of Geoheritage, Mathur et al. 2001, and the work of Dr. Shiv Singh Rathore of his BSc submitted in 2020 last month. It's very helpful to utilize, to assess them, to characterize them, to recognize as a hydrogeocyte. Some of these criteria, main criteria is scope, scientific values, utilization, and coordination and organization, and there's some sub-criteria. Based on that, we can first have to name the hydrogeocyte. Based on their identification, should utilize geographical, geological, historical, cultural, and religious references, and should have GPS. And they should be accessible, and all the characters should be visible there, and safety for the visitors is the prime factor, and also the scientific value. They should be characterized hydrogeologically, geologically, and geomorphologically. Then utilization, we have some details of these characters on the signboard, and can use the description of geological description and use of their values. And most important is the land status. A particular hydrogeocyte should have clear ownership. This should be very important, and it must have some cleanliness factors and availability of the toilet and facilities of the food and accommodation in the nearby areas. So all these factors or criteria will help into selection of a hydrogeocyte. For hydrotourism values, we have to look for the main criteria, that is availability, usage, logistic, and perceptiveness. So similar, some of the part we have utilized to select the geosite. Among them are the availability, the accessibility is the main, then visibility and the safety, the same, then use. Indications, use geological values, use of aesthetic values. So most important is the aesthetic and other cultural and historical values. They impart the additional values to a particular geosite. And also the logistic and the perception, aesthetic value and contents also. So accordingly, based on methodologies proposed by us, Indian hydrogeocites can be selected, inventored, characterized, and assessed scientifically to be utilized to establish their hydrogeological values for the promotion of hydrotourism as utilized internationally. So main aim is to utilize these values of the particular hydrogeosite for the hydrogeotourism, and hydrogeotourism is economically is a new market and innovative movement internationally, helping travelers by generating interest to see, enjoy, and admire the hydrogeodiversity. Further, it will help in conservation of hydrogen. Most important is, if we apply all these criteria, we can able geosites, hydrogeosite, with their respectful use. So, concept of hydrogeotourism is successfully applied and operated to promote tourism for the socio-economic development in many countries having geopark. I have showed you that geopark concept, and these concepts are very successful internationally, and about 37% of tourists are visiting geopark and national parks throughout the world, and this shows the importance of these concepts internationally. However, India does not have a single geopark till date. So we have potential, the field that if we add our step wells into the geopark, they can be of immense of value in the future. So the presence of large number of remarkable and unique step wells in India are additional geological objects. So in the geoheritage, if we include geological water-related objects, can be very significant to promote hydrogeotourism as an additional tool to promote tourism in India. So in Indian context, hydrogeotourism can be defined, and it refers to tourism that sustain or enhance the geographical character of hydrogeosite, having its history, culture, social, aesthetic, and heritage values, with constructional, architectural, and scenic beauty that impart unique experience when visited and can be utilized for well-beings of residents and community for socio-economic development of the region. Now, the hydrotourism potential in India, remarkably, we know that the development of step wells in India dates back to the 3rd millennium BC, and its peak of glory reached during 12th to 16th century, overlapping the peak of traditional Indian architecture. This is the most important point, that how our step wells have evolved through the development of architectural and civil engineering technologies. Essentially, these are ancient groundwater bodies. Most importantly, they are the ancient groundwater bodies of heritage values and are significant geological objects. Hence, these can be termed as traditional hydrogeosites in Indian context. Additionally, these ancient hydrogeosites are not only very important socially, culturally, and historically, but also economically important in old time as free source of water for public. Presently, water is chargeable. You can see the tap water coming from tap in your house will come in the end of the month, and you have to pay for this. And similarly, if you want to buy a bottle of water, it is chargeable in the shop. So, but in the old time, this is the specialty that it was the free source of water for the public. Now, why the requirement of hydrogeosite and hydrotourism concept in India? Because we know that Despite of significant Indian step wells, with current crisis of water, most of these step wells are damaged and degrading very fast, converting into dustbin and are unusable in present scenario. Hence, to restore their importance and significance, step wells should explore and studied scientifically in Indian context to protect and conserve them with their respectful use. This is most important aspect. I will show you that how based on the methodology hydrogeocides are qualified. Only 25% of these hydrogeocides have been qualified because of these factors. Mostly, if I quote some example here, Tapi Bauri is excellent, magnificent Bauri is converted into ruin. Also, the Khareswar Bauri is in the pathetic stage. This is from Jodhpur, and two Shukla Bauri and Devpura Bauri from Bundi. You can see now it is converted into garbage bin or dust bin. You can see here. So, with this international, national background of step wells, geologically, I'm going to present a case study from Rajasthan regarding the step wells and their significance, especially for the geotourism purpose. So, selection, characterization, and assessment of hydrogeocyte of Rajasthan, based on the published literature, a lot of work has been done by eminent scientists and the workers in Rajasthan. Along with our present survey and field work, revealed that important step wells are mainly situated in rural and urban areas of 6 cities of Rajasthan, that is Udaipur, Ajmer, Jaipur, Bundi, Jodhpur and Jaisalmer. These areas are also significant geologically. I will show you one by one how they are significant geologically, culturally, historically in Rajasthan, and select for the case study. So based on the proposed methodology, 345 step wells are invented, of which 44 are qualified as hydrogeocyte. So number itself tell you the story of our step wells, how they are irrelevant to the present scenario. So the less number of qualified hydrogeocytes indicate that majority of step wells are damaged and present conservation. Additionally, most of them are endowed with magnificent civil and architectural work constructed by local heritage stone. This concept is also emerging at international level, that the local heritage, local decorative and building stone is designated as heritage stone resources which have been utilized to build magnificent buildings locally, palaces, forts, and including step wells. So at international level, they have been called as the heritage stone resources. And we are fortunate enough, we have in every corner of India, we have HSR. And by these HSR, most prominent monuments have been constructed utilizing these type of stones. So Archaeological Survey of India has designated them, these spectacular magnificent monument, as a monumental heritage of national interest of India. So we will identify some potential water bodies, hydrogeocyte as a monumental heritage of national interest from Rajasthan, and also UNESCO World Heritage Site similar to Rani Ki Vav of Gujarat. Recently, Rani Ki Vav of Gujarat have been declared as a UNESCO World Heritage Site among the step well. So this has opened the way to we can explore our step wells in terms of a monument of heritage of national interest and UNESCO World Heritage Site for our step wells also. So by taking Udaipur as a case study, geological 345 invented hydrogeocyte of Rajasthan, which are hosted geochronologically by Aravalli Telephone Belt, that is Udaipur, Jaipur and Ajmer, Vindhyan Plateau, Bundi and Marwa Plains, Jodhpur and Jaisalmer. So we are categorized our study area geologically and geochronology, and I will explain all these in a geochronological order. So first of all, Udaipur, famous tourist place, is also known for its beautiful lakes and step wells. The rocks of Aravalli supergroup of Aravalli Food Belt form the main aquifer of step wells situated in undulating topography of hilly terrain. You can see here, and Sosar Se Udaipur Valley is developing around the rocks of the Aravalli Hills. So, this is the geological map of the Aravalli Food Belt around the Udaipur, and you can see the most of the spectacular lakes. Many lakes are situated in Udaipur city, and hydrogeologically, these aquifers are represented by weather fracture jointed metasediments, limestone, alluvium, and they form the principal aquifer for the hydrogeocytes of the Udaipur. So based on the proposed methodology, out of 21 invented step wells, only 5 are qualified as hydrogeocyte from Udaipur, and they have been located white along with some natural water bodies. So these 5, I'm not going in the detail of each hydrogeocyte because I have to explain so much hydrogeocyte. So important hydrogeocyte I will explain. So the first one is the Nolakha hydrogeocyte, then CTA hydrogeocyte, Debari Bauri hydrogeocyte, Dutalai, Trimukhi Bauri hydrogeocyte, and second area is the Jaipur Geological Valley Food Belt of Alwar Basin is significant entity of India, divided into 2 parts, the northern Jaipur sub-basin and southern Ajmer sub-basin. BGC and rocks of ASG form the basement that is unconformably followed by the rocks of Delhi supergroup on top, form the spectacular horse-shaped landscape of the Jaipur. You can see here, and in between the Jaipur valley have been developing, and this is the dam of the Jaipur city, and you can see that this area is known for the presence of the step wells, and hydrogeologically if we see, it is a very favorable place because it is surrounded by Nahargarh Ridge, Amer Ridge and Jalana Ridge, and water which is drained, and Mansagar Lake, big Mansagar Lake is there, and along this Jal Mahal, it is also called as Jal Mahal, all the water structures have been developed in that area. So hydrologically suitable conditions are there, and they receive the seepage water meticulously here, and our ancestors identify all these conditions and develop step wells there. So Jaipur is a capital of Rajasthan. It is a UNESCO World Heritage City. World Heritage Fort, one fort that is called as Jaigarh Fort, located here, is declared as a World Heritage Fort. It has the world's largest stone astronomical observatory, world's oldest full mountain range, one of the world's largest step well, that is Avanari step well, and it is famous. That's why it is very famous tourist place of the world. So, from Jaipur, about 27 spectacular step wells are invented, of which 10 are qualified as hydrogeocyte in Jaipur. One is the Baldev Parshuram hydrogeocyte, then Chand Baudi. It is a spectacular Chand Baudi. You can see the photograph and some to imagine that how magnificent this water structure is. It is located near Avanari village, the Jaipur built during 9th century by Chauhan ruler King Chanda. It is considered as one of the oldest, deepest and largest step well of Rajasthan. This remarkable structure constructed by beautiful red sandstone, that is HSR, square in shape having 13 stories. Most important is the 13 stories with a temple on one side, 3,500 steps, descend 20 meters to water table. Due to its uniqueness, it is potential site to be inscribed as Monument of National Interest of ASI and proposed for UNESCO list of World Heritage Site in Cultural Heritage category. Third is the Pannamina Hydrogeocyte. It is a complex of Parsuram Shiromani complex, and it has so many temples, that why it is called as Shiromani complex. Mirabai, Krishna, Vishnu in the fourth side of this step well, and it is constructed by Jaisalmer in 16th century, named after Pannamiha. It is an 8-storied octagonal shaped magnificent structure with 3 sides, has 1,800 symmetrical arranged steps in crisscross manner. Goes up to the depth of 200 feet. The steps arranged, this is most important of this hydrogeocyte, that the step arrangement is unique and systematic architecture, as steps that are used to go down cannot be used for going upstairs. This is the indigenous technology, how they have developed such type of technology at that time. Another hydrogeocytes are Nahargarh, beautiful hydrogeocyte, Daltakund, again a very magnificent hydrogeocyte, Kale Hanuman hydrogeocyte, Chil hydrogeocyte, Naku hydrogeocyte, Mahadev hydrogeocyte, Rukmani hydrogeocyte. So all these hydrogeocytes of Jaipur are well conserved and endowed with hydrogeoheritage value. Here I just want to inform that the then Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Srimati Vasundhara Raje Scindia, has launched a scheme, Jal Swavlamban scheme, to renovate all these Bawris. Under this scheme, more than 200 Bawris or the hydrogeocytes have been renovated, but not up to the mark that they can be qualified as hydrogeocytes. So some of them have been qualified for the hydrogeocyte and can be utilized as geotourism sites as an additional tool to promote tourism in Rajasthan. Since these hydrogeocytes are located at around Amir in Jaipur city and are easy to access, hence geotrail. It is another new terminology utilized for the geoheritage. Similarly, we can use, because they are situated near to each other, so we can form a geotrail of these hydrogeocytes, can help to be utilized for education to showcase their architect, civil engineering aspects, history and culture of old patronage of Jaipur, along with the hydrogeological characters. Third one is the characterization and assessment of hydrogeocytes of Ajmer. Ajmer, situated in the central part of the Rajasthan, is endowed with a spectacular hill, ridges, ranges and valley. You can see the lot of hillocks are there, ridges are there. We have named them according to their names, and in which the Ajmer's valley is developing. Geologically, these hills are represented by rocks of South Delhi Fold Belt, Bhilwara Supergroup, Delhi Supergroup and Anna Sagar Migmatite, along with Nephilim Cyanide. This site has been declared as National Geological Monument by Geological Survey of India. So among Ajmer, out of 27 step wells invented, only 4 are qualified at hydrogeocytes. Fourth one is the Bundi. Bundi is a city which is known for its step well along with the Jodhpur, and geologically Bundi is endowed with sedimentary rocks of Bundi Hill Formation, of Bhandir Group, of Upper Vindhyan Supergroup. EHF occur in form of northeast, southwest bold hills and ranges almost parallel to GBF. BHF is represented mainly by sandstone, clay, stone and shell limestone. Bundi is occupied by hilly terrain, you can see here, and southern part by Bundi Valley. And Bundi Valley, in which the thick alluvium is deposited, predominantly form the principal aquifer in the Bundi, in which most of the step wells have been developed in the Bundi Valley. So out of 104 step wells invented from Bundi, of which only 11 are qualified as hydrogeocytes. So you can see the location of various water bodies along with the step wells. This is the hilly terrain of Bundi, and this is Bundi Valley, and how magnificently they have located the site of the step wells there to get the favorable hydrogeological conditions. So that's why the seepage water can accumulate there in these step wells. So among these 11, Dawai hydrogeocytes, very spectacular, you can see here. Then the Ranijiki or the Queen's Hydrogeocyte. It is located about 4.5 kilometers north of Bundi railway station, built in year 1699 by Rani Nathawati, the second queen of Raja Anirudh Singh, as a gift to the public. Geologically, it is situated in the central part of the Bundi Valley, surrounded by Taragad, Akoda, and Bundi Tunnel Hills. Hydrogeologically, it is developed on alluvial aquifer, which is received seepage from this hilly terrain of BHF. It is a colossal step well of 60 meter long, about 16 meter wide, and having 46 meter of depth with 200 deeply carved stairs with symmetrically arranged side benches and rest to reach up to the water table. It is fabulous example of its architecture, design of Hardoti style, stone sculpture, carved pillars, arches, several icons having statue of God and goddess, sandstone and marble make it an important community place for great cultural values of the old time. Another is the Nagasaja Hydrogeocyte. Geologically, it is a twin step well located near to each other in one premises. Geologically, both are situated in the central part of Bundi Valley. Hydrogeologically, it is situated on the alluvial aquifer and receives fair amount of seepage from the above hill. Due to their spectacular architect, fabulous water harvesting system, and magnificent civil engineering structure, India government in 2017 has released a stamp on the Nagasaja Hydrogeocyte to honor their ancient, outstanding outer and as well as the inner architect. Dr. Vertek will happy to see this. He might have this information with him. So both hydrogeocytes have compound wall with intricate carving, carved blocks, idol, Lord Ganesha, Goddess Saraswati, beautiful garden, and cenotaph on corner constructed by marble, sandstone impart additional archaeological values to them. Next is the Daimatta Hydrogeocyte. You can see it's a very good, famous religious place of Bundi, and you can see the temples and the statues there. Similarly, the Kota Bundi and Vyas hydrogeocytes are very spectacular for their, known for their architectural and work, and also for the religious characteristics of this hydrogeocyte. Another are Boraji Hydrogeocyte, Bundi Fort Hydrogeocyte, Banganga Hydrogeocyte, Abhayanath Hydrogeocyte, Bhaval Hydrogeocyte. You can see the magnificent structures, monumental structure they have. Now the next is the characterization and assessment of hydrogeocytes of the Jodhpur city. Geologically, Jodhpur comprises of igneous rocks of Malani igneous suit. You can see in the geological map of Jodhpur, overlying Ediacaran sedimentary rocks of Jodhpur group of Marwar supergroup and the quaternary to recent alluvium of Jodhpur city. And hydrologically, sandstone and fractured rhyolite and alluvium, along with the alluvium, form the most aquifer of these step wells of Jodhpur. You can see the Ranisar Kadamsar Hydrogeocyte. These are the twin step wells of the hydrogeocytes. And a traditional water body located about 4 kilometers from Jodhpur at the backyard of the Mehrangarh Fort. Sorry. Geologically, this hydrogeocyte is surrounded by rhyolite hill of Malani igneous suit of Precambrian age. The southern side has imposing Mehrangarh Fort, and its western side there are spectacular symmetrical step, veranda, pavilion, and temples provide additional values to this Ranisar hydrogeocyte. Another most important is the Gulab Sagar hydrogeocyte developed at the foothill of the Mehrangarh Fort. You can see the beauty of this hydrogeocyte. Third one is the magnificent Rajmahal Jhalra hydrogeocyte. It is also situated in the old Jodhpur city, constructed by Vijay Singh in year 1775 CE. It has a remarkable design with steps at various levels from all sides, with spectacular veranda, domes, arches, represent rich architect and civil engineering of old time. Next is the Turjiga Jhalra hydrogeocyte. It is also constructed by Abhay Singh Ji in 1740 CE. Most spectacular, beautiful Jhalra of Jodhpur because of its magnificent architectural design and symmetrically arranged step on 3 sides at various levels. Most important point I want to share that Mr. Caron from Scotland, who has taken this work to clean this Jhalra, and now this you are seeing this beautiful and clean Jhalra is because of his work with in association with our group and local pupils. We have able to develop this and restore its beauty once again in Jodhpur. Another are Sukhdev Jhalra Raghunath hydrogeocyte. Both are beautiful structures. Navi Bauri hydrogeocyte, Tapi Bauri hydrogeocyte. Navi Bauri is the only L-shaped hydrogeocyte of Jodhpur. This one. And Tapi Bauri has 7 floors. That's why both are very spectacular and magnificent structure. Okay, so from Jaisalmer, last study area is the Jaisalmer. Jaisalmer is also known as the Golden City, located about 280 kilometers west of Jodhpur city in western Rajasthan. In India is famous because of sonar or golden food. This has been also declared as World Heritage Site of UNESCO. Landform of Jaisalmer is situated in the thick of the Thar Desert, geologically classified into fluvial, lacustrine sediments, mainly of Lati and Jaisalmer formation, and Aeolian sediments. Sandstone and shale of Lati formation and limestone of Jaisalmer formation forms the principal aquifer in the Jaisalmer. Out of 21 step wells invented, only 2 qualified as hydrogeocyte. The Gadisar hydrogeocyte and Kuldhara hydrogeocyte. You can see the beauty and remarkable architectural work of both sides. So now I come to most important part of my talk, how to we establish the significance. Time is running. Actually, significance of hydrogeocyte in Indian context. We know that the traditional hydrogeocytes are most unique monumental structures of India, but are little known part of the Indian science and art despite of their great significance and provide additional values to hydrogeocyte. First one is the hydrogeology. At international level, if any object, geological object having some historical and cultural or religious element, they are considered as the archaeological significance. It's not an archaeological tool or that or type. So at internet, that's why we have utilized that archaeological significance that impart the additional values to a particular hydrogeocyte. So in terms of the historical significance, we know that they have been dated back to 3rd millennium BC, and their peak of glory reached during 12th and 16th century, represent the old patronage of India. That's why these are the old patronage of India, great site of Mohenjo-daro, Kalibanga and all these things, with period of Rajput and Mughal rulers, especially in Rajasthan, are endowed with remarkable complex system of lined water related structure accessed by the steps, represent old history of various clans through magnificent and unique step well. So if we add the historical characters with our hydrogeocyte, they will impart the additional values. Similarly, the cultural and religious significance, all step wells are endowed with some cultural and religious elements there. So we can utilize them as an additional tool to impart the values or significance to our step wells. Then architectural and civil engineering significance, we know that all are magnificent monumental structure. We call them as the geo-monument because they are constructed with the local HSR, and local HSR is nowadays famous locally and at a national level also. So all type of monumental structures which have been constructed in the old time by the HSR can be considered as a monumental, geo-monumental structure. And we know that they are full of civil and architectural designs, styles, and work. So they also provide additional values to a particular geosite. Next is the scientific significance. In ancient Greater India, the development of traditional water bodies were built in different type, style, and are located where the suitable geological and hydrogeological conditions are available. This is most important, how our ancestors, knowing the subsurface geology, it's a question, still it is a question, without geophysical survey and then absence of the techniques at that time, how they have been encountered even the paleocontinental system in the subsurface. I will show you some of example from taken from the Jodhpur. And the witnessing outstanding knowledge of water harvesting and conservation of ancient communities of various regions. Hence, our magnificent and spectacular scientific heritage of India as exemplified from Jodhpur. You can see in Jodhpur, the 34 step wells are located in a one direction because the water from the catchment area, mostly from the rhyolite hills in the catchment area of Kailana and Sursagar, from where the canal drain water to the Ranisar, which is situated in the backyard of the Mehrangarh Fort. So this has been ancient water body of Jodhpur. So before construction started for Mehrangarh, they need water. So from there, they have developed a very good system to drain water to the Ranisar, and overflow of this Ranisar is going into Padamsar, which is situated in the alluvial aquifer. And through seepage, they have utilized the paleo slope of the Jodhpur, and all the water is seeped towards the old city, where all these step wells have been developed there in the old city up to the clock tower. And when the Ranisar is full, all these step wells are full. So there is no dearth of water, even in the summer season. In some of the water structure, there are gomukh, cow mukh are there, through which continuous flow of water is occurring even in the May and June. So they have encountered the paleo conduit system or lineament, and they have constructed such type of structure to provide water continuously. Next is the significance of hydrogeocyte as a potential national geological monument. So I'm not going into detail. GSI have till date declared 32 geoheritage sites having protected as national geological monuments so far in India, but no hydrogeological site, despite of their significant geological and hydrogeological character, not included in the list of the National Geological Monument. The Rajasthan has, Western Rajasthan has 3, out of which 2 are situated in the Jodhpur National Geological Monument at Mehrangarh Ridge on the pyroclastic rocks and the contact of the Malani rocks and the sandstone. And another is in the Jaisalmer Akal Fossil Park. So no National Geological Monument has been declared from the list of the hydrogeosites. So this is also a potential concept for the conservation and promotion of our step wells in India. Next is the significant hydrogeosite as potential monuments of national interest of ASI. As I told you earlier that Archaeological Survey of India has protected about 3,678 monuments as a potential monument of national interest. Rajasthan has only 3 step wells, Chand Bauri, Rani Ki Bauri and Nimrana Bauri of Alwar near Jaipur has been declared in 2018 as a monument of national importance by ASI till date from Rajasthan. But Rajasthan has few other hydrogeosites similarly showing outstanding and extraordinarily diverse historical, cultural, hydrogeological and monumental heritage can be potential candidate to be proposed as MNIs of ASI from Rajasthan, and we recognize 5. These are Panamina Hydrogeocyte, Nagasaja Hydrogeocyte, Ranisar Hydrogeocyte, Rajmahal Jaisalmer Hydrogeocyte and Turjika Jaisalmer Hydrogeocyte. You can see the picture of these. Similarly, significance of hydrogeocyte as potential World Heritage Site. We know that 20 sites have been declared so far from India as World Heritage Site till date, including only Rani Ki Vav of Gujarat as hydrogeosite of India. So few hydrogeosites of Rajasthan fulfill the criteria of UNESCO as these are endowed with outstanding universal significance, being situated in arid, semi-arid region of earth of harsh climate, a representation of unique water harvesting, conservation and management system of ancient India with additional archaeological, historical, cultural, religious and aesthetic values. So based on all these characters of our hydrogeosites, we have proposed 3 hydrogeosites for the UNESCO, which can be a potential candidate for the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Among them are the Chand Bauri, Rani Ki Bauri of Bundi, Chand Bauri of Jaipur, and Turjika Jaisalmer of Jodhpur, similar to Rani Ki Vav of Gujarat. So in the end, I want to conclude my talk. So present study is the document of synthesis of current information, knowledge and status of significant hydrogeosite to establish hydrogeodiversity, hydrogeoheritage and hydrogeotourism aspects of step wells of the Rajasthan. Proposed methodologies will help in selection, characterization and assessment of Indian hydrogeosites. Study initiate the possibility of new advancement in applications pertaining to concept of hydrogeotourism through step wells in Indian context, along with benefits similar to at international level having geopark. The significance of hydrogeosite with proposed NGMs, MNIs and World Heritage Sites will help to promote tourism through hydrogeotourism as an additional tool for socio-economic development of the region with enormous benefit. That is most important is that we could able to conserve our hydrogeosites and businesses, employment generation and so many benefits as we have seen at international level. This is bibliography utilized. So I would like to share one thing. Tomorrow in the morning at 11:50 a.m. I have another lecture by a society of in MP, Riva, Geoheritage of Jodhpur Implication for Geopark. I will send you the link for this also. Please join this lecture also. Thank you. In Jodhpur, for the awareness of geoheritage, time to time we have organized some programs in association with the Mehrangarh Trust Museum headed by our H.H. Gasingji, and one of that program was successful and a lot of people have been participated on the Geodiversity Day, and we are also planning to celebrate Geodiversity Day. It has been now officially declared by UNESCO to be celebrated on 6th of October. So please help us to save our geoheritage. Thank you. Thank you very much. Could you listen me?
Yeah, sir. Yes. It was wonderful.
Okay. Okay, sorry I have taken much time.
No, sir.
It is already
No.
7:10.
Yeah. Supriya, can I go ahead?
Yes, sir, madam.
Yes, a little louder would be nicer. If you can be a little
Okay.
सरांना सांगा की स्क्रीन शेअर स्टॉप करा, म्हणजे मग तुमचा चेहरा दिसेल, नाही तर सरांचा स्क्रीन दिसतोय.
Okay. Mathur sir, can I request you to stop sharing your screen? I think it is okay now. Is that fine now?
Yes, it is fine.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much, Mathur sir, for a very interesting, delivering this lecture on a very interesting topic. And it was really very good and well illustrated also through several Google images, maps, and very good quality photographs also. So there are a few questions, sir, from the audiences, and very good participation from audience side also. And thank you, audience and participants, for joining and taking time out for this session. So, sir, I would like to read some of these questions, and maybe you can decide how you want to answer. So there are few related questions, and maybe first 2 or 3 questions I will tell you together. So the first question is there any list for total step wells or traditional water structures in Rajasthan? That is the first question asked by Lohit Jain. Then Richa is asking, can we map unidentified step wells, which are based on present Google map? So that is another question. And third question is how to document unknown step wells. And so these are the three questions. Fourth question that is asked is, do step wells still have water? Many of these step wells, do they still have water? Whether we can plan when we are planning celebration activity. Somebody
Madam, audio is not so clear to me. Please write freshly the questions in the chat box, please.
Sir, questions are there already in the chat box.
Okay. First question is, can we locate unidentified historic step wells based on geomap? The question is not clear. Unidentified historic step well. What do you mean by this unidentified historic step well? We have invented the step wells based on our fieldwork survey, and we have visited that particular hydrogeocyte and document it. and put on the map also, Google map also. So unidentified historic step well, I don't know how to map them if you are not knowing physically these. The question
So I
is,
think they want to understand if there is any geo maps or Google images from that, whether we are able to identify the newer step wells which are not documented. Maybe that is a question, sir.
which are under subsurface, or what type of unidentified historic step wells?
In the sense, sir, these are not added into a list, maybe.
Let's ask the person who asked that question what he or she wants to know.
No, whatever physically those hydrogeocytes are present, we have documented them and put on those which are qualified as a hydrogeocytes. We have located them on the Google map. I showed you.
Yeah, correct, sir.
Okay.
But so I think that Google Map can still be improvised with newer and newer sites once these are located with the help of communities. That
Yes,
is what we
anybody
are.
can do that type of work. We
Sure.
have not done that work.
So they are
Now, second question is, do step well under hydrogeocyte sites still have the water in them, and are they in state to be celebrated? No, I've shown that the water bodies which have water and they have been conserved are qualified for the hydrogeocytes, but that water is not good and not potable. That's why in the present scenario, they are not utilizing. Many of them are not, water of these hydrogeocytes are not utilizing, but some water of the water bodies have been utilized to supply water locally in Bundi and Jodhpur area. So, next question. Yes.
I think they are also asking, is there any list for total step wells and traditional water structures in Rajasthan?
I have shown that 345 water bodies have been invented by us. I showed that in my presentation. 345,
Okay, sir.
which are physically present, are in somehow are in position that they have shown their existence. We have documented that only.
I think Lohiti has asked this question. So his second question is whether that list is in public domain and whether it can be shared.
Which one?
Whether it is in public domain and whether it is accessible and whether it can be shared.
All hydrogeocytes are in public domain. They are managed by either by the government or some trust or some local people there. So they are open for the public. Most of them are.
Sure. Thank you, sir. And one is there any plan to maintain the water quality?
Hello?
Sir, one question is there any plan to maintain the water quality?
No, in the present scenario, since they are not utilizing for any water supply for drinking or domestic purposes, that's why they are not done the water work for the water quality. But in thesis work of Shiv Singh Rathod, we have done the water quality, taken parameters of the step wells of the Jodhpur, and most of them are not in good quality because of one and another reasons.
And one last question, sir, is what is the difference between Bauris and Jalara?
Hello.
Is there any difference between Bauris and Jalara?
Jhalra, yes. Jhalra are the bigger water bodies, having single floor, and steps can be in 3 to 4 all sides. But the Bauri are the smaller than the Jhalra, but they have up to the 7 floors of the flights where the verandas and the chambers are there, and the steps are only in the one direction. This is the difference, basic. And Jhalra type of hydrogeocides are only present in the Jodhpur.
Okay, so I
Okay.
think we have taken few questions, sir. And with this, we are coming to the end of this session. And maybe, sir, I would request you to switch off your mic, sir, because there is a lot of disturbance.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, sir. And yeah, it's my honor. I am Dr. Rajeshri Joshi from Biodevelopment Research Foundation. And it's my honor to give this vote of thanks for a very interesting session by you, Dr. Mathur. And we truly enjoyed your session, sir. It was very, very flowing. And I mean, you could take us to Rajasthan, to part of arid desert, and which has a harsh climatic condition, and water is really a lifeline for the communities over there. So apart from the importance of water and traditional water systems, I think you really helped us understand the heritage value of such structures. So I think that was very, very kind of entertaining and very, very kind of educating also. And through your, I'm sure there were close to 63 participants, sir, and I'm sure like me, all others must have enjoyed your session, sir. I think what your session has given is three things. One is it has given us hope, because I think you spoke about these geosites being the tourism sites, and also these are the kind of traditional wonders and heritage sites where a lot of our ancestors, the kind of skills that they had, the kind of knowledge system that they had, and kind of domain expertise they had in maybe architecture, or maybe civil engineering, or maybe a lot of other things related to hydrogeology. So I think that made us really proud. So thank you for that, sir. And the second thing is also you helped us to reflect on history, because the way you told us about various rock systems, be it igneous or basalt or metamorphose. So these are the rock types, and also the kind of history, because our kings and queens that were there, and the kind of water system that they introduced and maintained, and kind of gave the dignity to that entire work. I think it also made us reflect on our history, and I really wonder why this type of history is not being taught in schools. And so history and geography, we have to make it very interesting also. And scientific significance, definitely, that you also you highlighted. So and ahead you have given us agenda for 6th October, which you said is a Geo Heritage Day being declared by UNESCO. And there are a lot of such things, especially in India and especially in Rajasthan and the Jaipur from
Voice
where
is
you
not
are
audible,
right
madam.
now. Yeah, so I think you have also
Hello.
given us staff. Am I audible, sir?
No voice is there, madam.
Is it not audible to others also?
No, no, we can hear you. We can hear you.
सर आप
Okay.
कम एक बार जस्ट म्यूट हो गए क्या?
Is it audible
माथुर
now?
साहब आप
Yes,
माथुर
yes,
साहब आप म्यूट है.
Rajeshri, yes, it is
You
audible.
audible.
हाँ, now
Yeah, we can
you
hear
are.
you fine.
Audible, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So, sir, thank you very much for one is giving us a lot of this pride about our ancestor, our legacy, and the rich history that we carry, and the traditional systems that we have in India. Second is you have also given us hope, because there are many such kind of sites in India where we can organize tourism, and you have given us this vision of geology-based tourism, and definitely India has potential. And also you have given us the task ahead of identifying, listing such heritage sites, also celebrating around them. A lot of events can be organized. And also 6th October, I think you have said that it will be a Geo Heritage Day, will be celebrated in India. So I think a lot of those future leads also for action. So with this, I really thank you for this wonderful session, sir. Grateful that you accepted our invitation, and it was almost 1.5 hours you were speaking, sir. So thank you for that. And also thank you all the participants who have taken time out for joining, and compliments to Maharashtra Vrikshavardhini Intact for this identifying this wonderful theme, and also organizing a World Water Week this way, and bringing all together these knowledgeable people. So thank you. And tomorrow we have very interesting session again by Mr. Karad, who is Akash Karad, who is a member of Maharashtra Stepwell campaign, and a very interesting work they are doing in Maharashtra. So he's an architect. And another session will be by Rao Saib Kote. So he will talk about BIO's effort in revival of traditional water systems. And Mr. Soni also will be there sharing his view on this work on traditional water system. So I think all of us know it is being said the third world war will be around water. So I think it is very important for us to conserve, revive, and acknowledge this traditional heritage system. So thank you. On this note, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you very much, Supriya and Dr. Vartak, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you,
Thank you, madam.
Dr.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mathur Sahab.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No, we hope that all the three wells you mentioned will get listed in UNESCO World Water, World Heritage Sites.
Yes, 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 yes. We'll try.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again.
Yes.
Okay. Should I leave now?
Yeah. Venkat sir was there. He will call you later.
Right. Hello, Venkat. How are you? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay.
मीटिंग एंड करू.
हो चालेल.
सुप्रिया मॅडम.
हाँ
मीटिंग एंड करते.
हो